Welcome back to GameStop TV. My name is Ronspies. Now that we've finally reached 2020, the dust has settled on 2019. We can look back at it with a bit of objectivism and... who am I kidding? Gaming's a subjective medium, baby! Right now, I'm gonna hit you with my top 5 games of 2019. And honestly, cutting it off at 5 was a really hard thing to do. Even making a top 15 for 2019 would be pretty difficult, so I mean it when I say these are the best of the best. To me, anyway. Oh, and these are in order. We're not taking the coward's way out here. Hot takes only. Number 5. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Call of Duty is a franchise that's always meant a lot to me. And while I may have joined the online craze with Black Ops, my formal introduction to the series came in the form of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. That connection to all the iconic characters has lasted for years. So finally having a new Modern Warfare where I can rest my weary head has been a sight for very sore eyes. While evocative and familiar to the originals, the Modern Warfare name finds a new life in exploring new ways of making your blood pump, from tense house breaches to adrenaline-filled firefights. Modern Warfare is a homecoming, and not just for a familiar cast of characters. Its classic-style multiplayer has also had a ton of old friends I met in high school returning to the scene. Some of these guys I haven't spoken to in years, but now that the Call of Duty we grew to love is back, it's like going back to a simpler time. This game is like a time capsule in all the best ways. I've had a wonderful time, and I recommend it to anyone who's interested. Just watch out for claymores. Number 4. The Outer Worlds. If you're anything like me, then you probably love Fallout New Vegas. There's just something about how Obsidian handled that world, its characters, and the endless variety found in everything from your character's build to the dialogue you choose. Plus, its incredible writing went a long way to make sure that game would never be forgotten. When I played The Outer Worlds, the same emotions I got playing New Vegas resurfaced. It truly feels like the New Vegas sequel we never got, a spiritual successor in nearly every single way. The Outer Worlds succeeds in all the ways New Vegas did. Every story quest feels like it has a dozen variables that can change based on your character's stats, the companions you have with you, and the dialogue you choose. It also has one of my favorite parts of New Vegas, being able to talk your way through nearly any situation, including major boss encounters. The Outer Worlds felt like a dream come true for me, a glimpse into a reality that never was. We'll probably never see Obsidian take another crack at Fallout, but if The Outer Worlds is any indication, they don't really need to. Number 3. Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Something essential to the impression a game leaves on you is the element of surprise. If a game doesn't catch you off guard with how much you like it, it wouldn't have had the same impact had you expected to like it as much as you did. I knew I was going to like Fire Emblem 3 Houses. What surprised me was how much I like it. I was surprised at the turns the story took, surprised by the wealth of content, and surprised that I'd want to see every single second of the story for myself. Fire Emblem games aren't really meant to be 100 hours long, but that's how much time I've been willing to sink into this game in order to play through every single story route, finish every single side quest, max out my relationships with every character. This game is a Goliath. But time sunk into a game doesn't mean anything if it wasn't time worth sinking, and yeah, it was worth it, for sure. All the characters are fantastic, the gameplay is addictive, it's the quintessential Fire Emblem game, and, dare I say it, the quintessential Switch game. Oh, and Silver Snow route for life. Number 2, Resident Evil 2. I'll admit it, I'm a pretty big baby. Spooky games just aren't my thing. But playing Resident Evil 2 made me realize something. I do like scary games, I just don't like scary games with jump scares. And yeah, Resident Evil 2 has some of those, but the scares come more from a general feeling of unease and unpreparedness. Everything is laced with an extra layer of tension in Resident Evil 2, even simply wandering through areas you've already cleared. There's a constant escalation. The simple zombies are stressful enough, but then you get lickers thrown at you, and then Mr. X, and it keeps going and going from there. Trying to make your way through the Raccoon City Police Department is already pretty terrifying, but when you constantly hear Mr. X stomping around somewhere nearby, there's just nothing else like it. Oh, and hot tip, walk, don't run. Mr. X hears you when you run around. There's a special level of charm found in Resident Evil 2 that makes everything worth it. Everything is immaculately designed, a perfect execution of concept. It's the kind of game that's so good, it doesn't matter what your preferences are when it comes to gaming. Anyone can appreciate the thought and detail that went into every single inch of this game. Not only is it a great homage to the original game it's based on, Resident Evil 2 stands on its own as something completely unforgettable. Number 1. Death Stranding. In my opinion, video games are art. At least they can be. It can be hard to pinpoint what exactly makes a game a work of art, but in my eyes, it's when something transcends the medium in which it originated. Something that anyone in the world, gamer or not, can look at and go, wow, That's fascinating. Death Stranding is one of the most unique games I've ever played on a story, visual, and gameplay level. Sure, it's easy to look at it and stare at its eccentricities while disregarding the real things it's trying to say, but when you realize the vision Hideo Kojima had for this game, you also realize why video games are so great. Kojima made a game that saw the best in its players, a game that envisioned an idealistic society despite the apocalyptic conditions its world is in. It's so easy to mess with people or to make people mad through the mask of the internet, so Death Stranding serves as an essential breath of fresh air that encourages us to help each other simply because it feels good to do so, even if it's just leaving a ladder over a river for someone else to use. Death Stranding is something we should seek to replicate in our own lives. So yeah, I'd say it transcends the medium of gaming. It's art, and it's hands down my favorite game of 2019. And there you have it, my top 5 games of 2019. That went somewhere, didn't it? I felt like we connected for a second there. Anyway, if you want to keep up to date with me and what I'm doing, follow my Twitter account at WadeLikesPie and subscribe to my YouTube channel called Ronspies. Stay tuned to GameStop TV, and remember, tomorrow is in your hands.